Now we have a panel discussion on gearing up for smart roads. This discussion will cover points like modern construction technologies, digitalization of tolls and intelligent traffic management systems, check and balances in overloading of vehicles, etc. I would like to invite Megha Manchanda, Assistant Editor, Digital Content, ETInfra, to moderate the discussion. Over to you, Megha.
Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. In this session, Gearing Up for Smart Roads, we will be discussing the future of roads in the country in terms of automation, in terms of smart tolling, in terms of better technology. I will start with member NHI, Mr. R.K. Pandey. Mr. Pandey, if you could tell us that what is the difference between the current roads and the proposed smart roads? Is the definition that I said, is it correct, or there is more to it?
You know, when I talk about a smart road, it's a very wide term and it is rather relative. Even today we have some smart roads. So if we compare the earlier road and the future road, then it will be much better. And in that aspect, I'll tell you the road projects starting from the inception. Earlier, the whole philosophy of development of road means widening the existing road. What we used to do is remove the deficiency of the existing road. Today, we are not following that strategy. We are going for the straight line pro-flight alignment. This is all possible because earlier we have only data on the cross section of a particular cross section of the road, and we compare with the capacity. We compare capacity with the existing, traffic, and decide about our strategy for development. Today, I have data for freight movement amongst the 600 districts in the country. So depending upon the requirement, we, rather than following a straight, following the existing alignment, we are following the straight line alignment. And in the process, we'll see that a lot of greenfield corridors will be developed. That is one. Number two, earlier, because of the cost constraint, we were only going by the capital cost of the project. So we generally used to follow, whenever it comes to the road project, we used to follow a contour. If some hillock has come, then we'll go around the hillock. If some valley is coming, we'll try to avoid it. Today, you will find that scenario has gone. Since I said I'm more into the greenfield straight line alignment, so we are following a straight line alignment. If some hillock is coming, we are constructing tunnel. If some valley is coming, we are constructing bridges. And when we'll have to have this kind of philosophy, then a lot of tunnel and bridges you will see while constructing roads. Number three is about when we have taken up NHDP, that was our first ambitious program for development of the roads. What we did is we have increased the capacity of the road, but we realized that it has not, helped us in reduction of the accidents because junctions were there. So in the current road development, what we are doing is we are trying to eliminate all the junctions. And when I say eliminate all the junction, it means wherever junction is there, I'll provide some kind of it. So today's roads are much safer because there are a number of structures. That is one part of it, that is the planning stage. Number two is about the technology. When we talk about a smart road, it could be a safe road, it could be road leading to speeds, it could be road leading to, which is environment friendly. So in terms of the technology, we are using number of new technology, and cement treated bases, which requires less thickness of the pavement, is very commonly, which is being adopted today. And in future, I'll see that people will come out with some kind of solution where even we'll think of something without aggregates. It is being worked. Not only reduction of aggregate, that is for preserving the natural resources. We are also utilizing number of technologies which are environment friendly, such as use of modified bitumen, use of plastic waste, use of recycling, use of war mixes. All those are from the point of view of the technology. Then next stage is about the project preparation or supervision. The whole idea of in the road development is we are trying to eliminate the human element, and that is for the simple reason that we will get more accurate results which are not subjected to any considerations. So today our supervision is totally machine based. It is all with the help of vehicles, equipment mounted vehicles. And as far as project preparation is concerned, again, when we were constructing 10 kilometers a day, it was fine with us to do a lot of manual operation. Today, when the speed of construction has gone as high as 37 and government is looking much more than that, then I'll have to have automation in all the areas, and that we have already achieved. Today, the surveying is being done with LiDAR. The design drawings are automated. It's all computer-based softwares are available. And last point is operation. Now today you will find roads with electronic tolling. 5 years back, you'll have all manual tolling. Only electronic tolling was 10 to 15%. Today the penetration is 97%.
Right.
And we are looking forward to provide more and more information through ITS to our road user.
Right. So as you rightly pointed out, that you are planning to use human intervention as much as possible. So at this point, I would like to bring in Mr. Sudhir Hoshing from ETInfra. He is the CEO of the company. So I would ask you, what would be the role of private sector in building these kind of smart roads, basically by reducing human intervention and bringing in more automation?
Great. What I feel is when we're talking about private, the smart roads, as Pandey sub has already said, how we have moved from just normal widening to today something which is something much safer road. So I would suggest in India's context, where the accident per year is max. So you need to see what is my maximum safety for the people. So safe roads to start with is the one thing. And then we go ahead to the second thing, which is the smart road. Smart road has n number of things which can be done on smart roads as a definition. But what I can add is that given, because we work for somebody always on a certain scope of work, and we always need to see as a concessionaire that how safe we can build the road, how safe for people people who use that road. And once the safety is, that means to say that traffic doesn't collide with each other. That means if the both roads are going parallelly and the crossroads are being flown over or going underneath, then you don't have chance of at least opposite traffic or side on traffic coming and hitting each other. So that's the biggest thing which you need to save. Once you pass that stage, that you have made that road very safe, then you talk about auto traffic lines, then you can talk about the roads which are energy savings, and then green roads, and then come to your roads which can actually electrify, which have fiber underneath, which can charge your system within the car when your electric car can be charged from that road. So those are the systems which can come later. And then after the thing which I would suggest is the easiest thing, which because we run so many expressways, the biggest thing is whoever may say whatever, but after so many years I have seen the 95 to 97% mistakes are the driver mistake, either in form of drunken driving, overspeeding, wrong use of lanes, or parking on the expressway. These are 4-5 major things by which I see accidents happening. We have 2-3 expressways which we run, and we see so many accidents. Unfortunate thing is that this happens. So to control that, even if I have two patrolling cars, that is not enough to manage another 150 kilometers or 200 kilometers, or for that matter, even smaller number of kilometers. So I have seen in places where now, by name of smart road, we have drones which keep on running, and they catch the traffic violations. So we know that they're crisscrossing the lines and they're going here and there, and you know by the pattern of driving whether it's a drunken driver fellow or not. All those things can be found out and caught them, because they are the maniac. those are the people who create the issues at the road. I think that is where I see my thing is to save people first. And if I have saved people, then I can add a lot of technologies on the road. Let it be solar lighting, energy saving, everything can be done on that. But issues on that, I'll come later.
Certainly, sir. We all want safer roads. At this point, I would like to include Mr. Rajesh from TollPlus. His company is involved in advanced tolling solution, end-to-end transportation solution, and they aim to significantly improve revenue collection and efficiency on Indian roads. So, Mr. Rajesh, if you could tell us from your experience, is India ready for smart roads?
India is ready for such a transition, but one should remember that building and facilitating smart roads and relevant infrastructure would be a costly affair. While India is fast moving into more regularized mobility sector, we need to raise the baseline infrastructure so that the enforcement mechanism becomes more robust. And there are multi stages of implementation of enforcement, and we can create a cost-effective and sustainable infrastructure so that the end user would reap benefits out of it. Some of the solutions that can immediately be installed are like solar power automated signaling, Wi-Fi transmission, speed sensor reporting, facilitation of connected vehicle systems, dedicated lanes for priority commutation, like a hot lane or a speed lane. And as our guests have said, smart roads is a wide spectrum. So we need to start as a phase-wise manner, and India is definitely ready to go to the next step.
And what kind of business opportunity do you see here?
As everyone might have known, TollPlus is now a 100% subsidiary of Vinci Group. Vinci is a large MNC with about 2 lakh employees. Vinci always aspires to create positive mobility by creating net positive impact on the ecosystem. When I say net positive impact, it's like what is the amount of positivity that we are adding to the ecosystem and the environment. We are focusing on opportunities that can add innovation, reliability, and positive mobility. Specifically, we have an innovative platform that facilitates accurate and accountable transactions and payment solutions in the mobility ecosystem. We strongly recommend introduction of free flow tolling, as barrierless tolling creates more positive mobility. We want to contribute a seamless mobility experience to customers. We feel customers want cost-effective and reliable solutions, yet delivered in a modern platform. For example, if I say ability to integrate all mobility accounts and seamlessly use one payment platform, this is an area that our platform adds value to the end customer, which we are already doing. By the same token, for example, in India, our immediate customers that are banks want to platform that accurate accounts for every FASTag transaction. And I'm very proud to say, like, TollPlus is something that manages the SLAs to the highest level. So this is an area that our solution has been tested, tried, and we have exceeded all expectations from our customers. We want to support development of smart roads using our technology platforms, which can benefit the consumers in many ways. May it be reducing congestion, better trip planning, reducing pollution. Creation of digital highways is the motto we have. Facilitation of congestion-based pricing, or implementation of hot lanes, devising multimodal transport integrators are some areas where investments can flow in.
Sure. So now if I could ask Mr. Pandey, so where do you think technology is going to play a very important role, first in terms of construction and monitoring, or you see it happening on both the ends? And where are the areas which you see the impact?
In fact, when we talk about any road project, broadly, its life cycle can be divided into, number one is the planning and project preparation. Number two is construction, and then the operation. As far as project preparation and planning, as I said in our earlier reply, that in planning, we are using a lot of technologies and we have geared up. But when it comes to construction, in construction, yes, we have mechanized our system. We have adopted number of new construction technology, which are from the point of view of the construction, mechanical construction or use of different materials. But when it comes to digitalization of construction, we are, yes, of course, lagging. As far as monitoring our operation is concerned, we have taken a step, and today our total, as I said earlier, our total monitoring is through equipment mounted vehicle. Not only this, during construction, we are using very largely the drones, and they are giving me every month's picture, what is happening, what is happening. In the operation part, apart from this electronic tolling, now we have moved toward ATMS, and now invariably ATMS is one of the feature of the highway projects, wherein the user will get a lot of information which will lead to his speedy, speedy and safer journey. As far as construction is concerned, digital construction is concerned, yes, we have taken for the first time and invited tender, wherein we made it compulsory that all the equipments which will be used for construction, all will be equipped with the sensor, and they'll give me all kind of information, the depth of the bituminous layer laid, what was the temperature when it was laid, what is the density we have achieved, all that kind of information which I used to collect as part of my quality control will be provided to me by the equipments. But this is an area where we'll have to do a lot.
Right. So here, Mr. Hoshing, construction is still a challenge, is what Mr. Pandey is saying. As far as smart roads is concerned, do you see any opportunity in this segment?
So yeah, in construction things, it's not that what we can do, what we can add. If you want to add any smart roads or smart values, everything is a cost. So if already defined, so then yes, you will find that we will have to add for those things. If you have smart equipments, of course, they will have a much costlier thing. So we need to see what value it is bringing to me as a person of construction and also person of concessionaire. I always think that what the way now even NHI is also doing, they are getting direct toll reports from our server to their server. It goes all direct now. So every minute, whatever collection happens, it goes into their account, and they know what is happening on the collection. So there is no, so that part is like more of a vigilance part. It's not going to the consumer. So I still on that whatever we are doing for the consumer, that is the user. So what are the things which are getting transferred to the user is more important. So if I am making a road which is not only safer but quality, which can actually be there for 7 to 10 years, then what are the various technologies we can use? So that we keep on using various things which are coming nowadays. A lot of technologies come because of which the road or the wearing surface can be doesn't require to be changed or relayed till 7 to 10 years of time. So that is where we have something, again, I'll call it the green construction, because then carbon saving. So these are the things we can add value to it, but adding on equipment, whatever value comes, that things will be, it's more of a monitoring than the real thing which will go back to the people.
But sir, is 7 to 8 years or 7 to 10 years the right span, or should we aim for a higher, longer span for these kind of roads? Because since the investments are going to be high.
No, it's a relaying thing. You need not do the entire road again. But what happens, the bitumen as of now, wears away in 7 to 10 years time, sometimes 8 to 10 years, depends upon what area it is, what geographical area it is. If it is on the high rain area or say less rain area, so monsoon are more or less, all those things depends. So that 8 to 1 to 2 year factor will come. Otherwise, that factor will not come. So 10-year is a good enough time for any relaying if happens. So you can ask Mr. Pandey, any of us, and he will be happy if he doesn't have to do relaying for 10 years. Right, sir?
Exactly. I was about to ask
Yeah,
Mr.
of
Rajesh
course.
also.
We will be very happy if
Okay,
I
that
have to do it after 10 years.
is it a good time span? 10 years is a reasonable time span, is what you feel.
In fact, it varies. Generally, we say 5 to 7 years. If it goes up to say 10 years, nothing like.
Okay. And do you agree with that, Mr. Rajesh? Since you are one of the service providers, is 10 years a good enough time? What kind of investment will it require from the private sector if that is the criteria?
10 years is a very good time, but as I said, it would become a very costly affair. And I see there would be more of a public-private partnership in such areas. And definitely it would be a good sign if you see that if it have a longevity, then the cost of reconstruction also would get there.
Right. And so, Mr. Pandey, if before I ask the other gentlemen for their closing remarks, I would want to ask you one thing. Which are the states where we can expect the country's first and foremost smart road project or projects if there are more than one?
You know, it is very difficult to say then which is the first or the upcoming smart road project, because as we started in the beginning, smart road is very wide canvas. Number of people, number of authorities who have constructed road wherein they have provided all the utility beneath the road, they term it as a smart road, and of course it comes within the purview of a smart road. Any urban road which is constructed where all the signals are synchronized, it is smart road. Yes, I'll have to accept it. It is a smart road. Similarly, if I'll say any corridor where I have provided ATMS, where a lot of information is flowing, which includes all wrong side driving and some kind of haphazard kind of driving, over speeding, overloading. Number of such stretches have been constructed. It will all qualify for a smart road. Similarly, the new technology which we have used in construction and every day we are using invariably in each project will qualify for a smart road. But the kind of a smart road which you are looking for, to me it appears a road which is equipped with all kind of ITS equipment which will provide all kind of information. Of course, if I say that Eastern Peripheral Road, recently we have completed, it is done, and it is, I can say yes, as on date, state of the art, whatever available in the country, we are using it, and it is one amongst the first smart road. But there are a number of roads. If you go through the internet, you'll find a number of authorities claiming that they have constructed a smart road.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Hoshing, you agree with Mr. Pandey that it is difficult to pinpoint one particular road, but rather expressways which are recently executed or which are in the offering will be a good role model for these kind of roads?
I think we are just starting to know the definition of smart road. As if I know the definition of smart road, we are just not even the beginner. We are just first stepper. So we are far away. We should find the smart roads within the cities first, where the traffic has to be managed, and then when it has to go to highway level, we first need to see the safety. Second, we need to see the energy saving. Third, need to say the water saving, and fourth, we need, in fact, the second water, and that we keep on doing water harvesting and all that. So that is also type of saving, and you're saving to the nature. And then the energy saving, that by having all the solar lights or the alternate power thing. But today the problem is, as our Eastern Expressway also, you see the issues with this is that you have all the solar light, but you cannot manage, you cannot have for each solar light one watchman standing there. because a lot of thefts. Even though crash barriers which are meant for safety of people, that are also taken away by people, and we cannot keep on watching it. We will come back. We'll know. Okay, it has been changed. It is my duty to change it. But as a thinking, whole of the nation would need to understand that what we are providing is for them, and they should not take it away and put that solar light in their home. So that is even if we provide, so much of expenses has been done, and then if it is taken away, theft, and then it will be very difficult. But yes, as of now, if you call a few things development as smart roads, yes, there are few smart roads. Otherwise,
So
my
as
definition is not started.
certainly these are the challenges that you have faced as a key player in the industry. So what would be your suggestion, what would be your advice to the other players in the industry, or the budding players which aim to be in IRB in the infrastructure space? How should they go about doing their business?
If you're talking in terms of getting to the level where we are, or level going to the level where, so today there are bigger companies than us, and there are companies
In terms of taking the risk and delivering.
yeah, see, taking the risk is everybody's appetite. It's in the DNA of the owner, and it's DNA of the company, where you can take the risk or not, and then how do you manage those risks, and what are the monitoring things today. Like NHA said that cameras has to be this. I am already talking to people on smart cameras. I am talking cameras with AI. In fact, I am putting camera within my camp with AIs, which are now that are connected to my head office, where I can see what is happening. If there is something which is not in the purview, which is not to happen, then that will be given me a click that yes, there is something which is going wrong. So if some vehicle has come and is not measured the weight, I will know that it has not measured the weight. So those type of things are the smart things which I talk about. AI and IoT. These are two major things which are the days, I would say, come. And if you want to come to this level, you can take risk, but you need to know how do you manage your risk. And that is why I was taken this point.
Do you agree with Mr. Hoshing, Mr. Rajesh, that Internet of Things and artificial intelligence is what is needed and is the need of the hour to excel in the road sector?
Yes, I would agree with Mr. Hoshing. The private sectors that are aligned into the business of road and infra are providing technologies in IoT, AI, and roadside hardware integrators also. They are also doing innovation and research in many ways. So there are enormous opportunities in this endeavor. The private sector understands that having a quality solution is a key metric to make such sustainable investments. In the longer terms, I think technologies would move towards vehicle-to-vehicle communication, vehicle-to any other device communication. Obviously, in some parts, we are seeing autonomous vehicles, intelligent traffic management systems. So all these are the areas that would definitely grow in the long run. And as Mr. Hoshing has said, smart roads is a larger and wide area. So there are multiple things that can happen in smart roads. And as I said, building and facilitating smart roads is a costly affair. And it's always, or at most of the times, going with a cost-effective service provider or a cost-effective solution might not give you the best of the results. We should credit the governments and the transport authorities for prioritizing the mobility and transportation infra in India. It is important to highlight that the success of this will be based on the system providers that have proven solutions. The governments and the transport authorities should look at the system providers who have strong capabilities and establish a track record and have a good sizability and responsibility. So development of smart roads is definitely a major step towards positive mobility. And smart roads can breathe definitely fresh life into the next gen urban mobility as well. Efficient green vehicles, empowered drivers and authorities with unique disability towards stronger and control over traffic are some things that would eventually grow and make the commutation more happy. So I think with the good contribution and good collaboration between the governments, the authorities, and the private sectors, together positive mobility can be achieved.
Now, I would leave the concluding remarks for Mr. Pandey, because nobody is better placed to guide us on this journey for better and smarter roads. Mr. Pandey.
As far as we discussed in the construction, a lot of things has been done, and we are continuing to do it. And one of the area which I have pointed out where we are lagging is digitalization of construction. There we did a lot of technological innovation, but not the digitalization. That is one area. Then secondly, when I construct all my road, people are paying, they'll expect a lot of services from them. So ultimately what we'll have to provide is, we'll have to provide them services. And when I have to provide services, then I'll have to provide him with all kind of information which is required for safe and speedy journey. And I have no escape for that. I'll have to do that. And we are working on it. And I'm sure that day is not far when we will be in a position to fulfill the demand of the road users.
Thank you, sir. We are all waiting for that day. Thank you, gentlemen. It was indeed wonderful talking to all of you. Thank you, Mr. Rajesh, for joining us and Mr. Hoshing. And thank you, Mr. Pandey. It's always a pleasure talking.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you everyone for sharing your perspective and the valid information. Now we'll proceed further for the next discussion.